talking about having something on the head. And of course,
But they have
women should have long hair. That's what scripture also says.
long hair. But the other the other is saying that having a veil though is like harlot down. That what this other group mean that they said that veil is it's called this harlot. What is there a reason that the hair it should be covering than veil, or what can you say about that there? Just a curiosity lang. Just questioning.
Well, scripture doesn't teach an awful lot about veils. In the Old Testament we see that Rebecca covered herself with a veil when she saw Isaac, her future husband, from afar, and she covered her head. Apparently she was not covering her head all the time. As it says here, when praying or prophesying, teaching, we know a woman should not be teaching during services, but a woman can teach children, for instance, and give children's class. There are female prophetesses, women who were prophetess. When they prophesy, they should wear a veil. That's what the scripture says. This is also why the interpretation that the long hair is the veil makes no sense. It's actually nonsense. Because when your hair is long, well, then you are wearing the veil at all times, not only when you are praying or prophesying, right? So you should do something extra when you're praying or prophesying if you are a woman, not if you are a man. So the interpretation of the long hair for women being the veil makes no sense. Next. A man ought not, just the opposite, ought not to have, just the opposite as what is the case for women, I mean, ought not to have his head covered when praying or prophesying, teaching, as it dishonors his head. 1 Corinthians 11, verses 4 and then 7 to 8.
Mas ma-accurate kasi yan. Ano kasi yun? It's RV kasi yun. It's RV na yung nasa my sword. Maybe? Or, ito na sa alit.
Every man praying or prophesying have anything down over his head shapes his head. For truly a man ought not to have the head covered, being the image and glory of Elohim, but woman is the glory of man. For man is not of a woman, the woman, but woman of man.
Also the note there, the wearing of kippah, skull cap, is not rooted in the Bible, but in man-made heathen practice. The Jews, just as Catholics and Protestants, they have lots of traditions. Traditions which cannot be found in Scripture. Wearing of kippah is one such tradition, not rooted in Scripture. The kippah has nothing to do with, let's say, the hat that the high priest wore. The high priest had very specific garments which are described in great detail in Scripture.
High priest na pala.
On the internet you can find, and that should be a warning sign. Some signs are very easily visible and are immediately seen, You go on internet and you're interested in a spiritual message. And well, lo and behold, you fall on a Messianic Jewish website. Oh, and this speaker is so great, you know. He can speak so, let's say, in such a convincing way, or even in a humoristic way. And he wears a kippah. That should be a trick, that should be alarm bells. This man is going by traditions. Scripture says in the New Testament that this is dishonoring his head, Yeshua. Why would you listen to someone who is dishonoring Yeshua? I think there are sufficient people preaching, well, there are not numerous, but still there are several, preaching the truth on internet who are not wearing kippah. Most likely, if you listen to that man, he will also introduce other Jewish traditions.